Welcome to the Writing Center tutorial series. The goal of this series is to provide you with helpful information from the comfort of your home. If you have any questions after the video, please do not hesitate to contact us at writing@mun.ca. This video discusses the colon and semicolon usages. Using the correct punctuation in your academic writing is essential. It can emphasize content, it can de-emphasize content, and it can provide clarity, understanding, comprehension for your reading audience. I would like to address two specific punctuation marks, the colon and the semicolon. Colons and semicolons are two methods to link parts of a sentence. They are very rich and very useful in their purposes. However, they are not the same. Their objectives are different. In this presentation today, we will discuss the rules for both these punctuation marks. In the first part of this tutorial, we will focus on the colon, followed by the semicolon. Let us begin with the colon. This punctuation mark serves three purposes. It stimulates the reader to continue reading the sentence because there will be specific details discussing the idea presented in the independent clause. When a reader moves forward beyond the colon, they will gain a better understanding of the content. Thus, it explains it. As well, the colon can serve a purpose of equivalence, meaning content on both sides of the colon are equal in topic. That is, the ideas on each side of the colon are discussing the same topic. Take a look at the sentence example. Our province has developed many of its natural resources, iron ore, oil, and fishery. There is a colon used in this sentence. Why? Look carefully at the content before the colon and after the colon. Before the colon, the content is noting that the province has numerous natural resources that they develop. When you look at the information following the colon, there is a list of the developed resources. So, the colon is encouraging the reader to keep reading for more details about the developing resources, and the expectation is fulfilled. Please note that in this example, we have a series of nouns. You can have phrases as well as independent clauses too. Let's further explore colon locations. As you prepare your sentences, be aware of the location you can use them. Colons can be used when listing nouns and noun phrases, as you can see in our first sentence example. The facilitator traveled to many places on campus, the bookstore, the chapel, and the library. In this first example, campus places listed are nouns, but keep in mind you can use noun phrases. In our second location, we can separate independent clauses only if they are related. The student worked hard for the grade. She received a 95%. The third location is with salutations. As you can see in the two examples, the colon follows the last name, and we use a colon following a title, such as Your Honor. As well, we use a colon in email correspondence, as in CC, or even a BCC. Another location to use the colon is to introduce a direct quotation, as with John Smith stated that there is one very important lease rule: keep it clean. Take a look at using the colon with numbers. Another location to use the colon is to separate hours and minutes. 1:45 p.m. Keep in mind that there is no spacing around the colon. Still discussing the numbers, the colon is used without spacing when referring to ratios, 1:2. And the final location that we'll discuss here using a colon is with biblical references. The book of John, chapter 3, verses 16 to 17. As you start using the colon, you must be cautious in some areas in order to avoid a sentence structure error. First of all, never use a colon after phrases used to refer to examples. I have some listed here for you, such as including for example and for instance. The student needs a selection of items for university, for example, computer and headphones. This is considered an error with the colon coming after for example. Secondly, avoid using a colon after a preposition and a main verb. If you do, you will separate the verb and the object. Looking at the two sentence examples below, in the first example, the colon is after the word out. In the second example, the colon is after the main verb understood. Both of these colons have created sentence errors. Moving along, let's look at the semicolon. A semicolon can substitute for a period if there is a closeness in the independent clauses. The semicolon can announce this closeness or relationship to the audience. A semicolon shows us a pause, longer than a comma, but shorter than a period. A semicolon helps to establish relationships and connections within the sentence content. But where do we use the semicolon? Just like a colon, the semicolon has its own locations. Firstly, it can connect phrases and sentences without using a conjunction. I enjoy Newfoundland. Air quality is good. In addition, a semicolon can partner with conjunctive adverb between two independent clauses. When this usage occurs, a comma is required immediately after the conjunctive adverb to avoid a sentence structure error. Newfoundland air quality is good, semicolon, therefore, comma, I moved there. But if the conjunctive adverb is located between the subject and the verb, then a semicolon is not required. These two commas are then used. Good Newfoundland air quality, therefore, attracts people. The final location of the semicolon discussed in this tutorial is in complex lists. When it is necessary to provide a series of lists for your readers and you want your audience to not be confused or lose track of the content, semicolons are great tools. When listing very complex sentence parts, it is important to use not only the semicolons, but also commas. Let's look at the sample sentence. Many great leaders, Churchill, leader of Britain during the Second World War, Alexander, the great emperor and general, and Napoleon, the brilliant French general, had strong characters, which were useful when their countries were at war, but which did not serve them well in times of peace. To conclude, as you prepare to write for academic purposes, please acknowledge and respect the specific purposes of these two important punctuation marks, the colon and the semicolon. Do not hesitate to use them, as they are valuable assets for audience comprehension. Note the rules, familiarize yourself with them to be sure you avoid any sentence structure errors and any misunderstanding. If you have any questions about this presentation or if you would like assistance with the colon and or the semicolon, please do not hesitate to reach out to the Writing Center. We would be happy to make the writing process as seamless as possible. Simply drop a message to writing@mon.ca. Thank you.